It's all about bikes and more. The Motorbike TV vlog with Kevin Lear.
Well, here we are on my power walk. A bit chilly this morning actually. Little horsey over there, look. Morning, little horsey. A number of people have been asking me why I do what I do, how I do what I do. And you know how some things lead you down through different channels of your life? How you take different turnings when you come to a fork in the road and you think, I'll take that one. Well, that's what happened. I was in the army until 88. Left in the middle of 88. Well, they released me in the March of 88, although my service didn't end until the June. And as it is, you get more or less your last 3 months off. And when I came out, I fell into the advertising world. And I produced a board that would go into a hotel foyer. And on that foyer, there it would be the board, advertisers around the outside and a clock in the middle. And people gave me cash. There's your money. And of course I thought, woohoo! I'm having some of this. But a guy I knew before I joined the army ran a guidebook company. And he asked me to go and see him, so I did. And he offered me a job, so I went, okay. And off I went. The first area that I worked was the Lake District, and I produced guidebooks with him for 4 years. But you hear the story so many times where an employer owes you money, and he did. So I thought, right, I'll teach you. And I set off on my own. And I produced what I called a touring map. Map on the front, indicating where people were, and an advert on the back. There's a lot of them about now, but in 1992 there wasn't. I then produced a national magazine, and I had a sales force of 14 and 7 people in the office, so 21 people I employed at the time. I then got an investor to become involved, and that was the biggest mistake I made. We increased the company to between 40 and 45, and unbeknown at the time, his plan was to invest money to the point that I couldn't keep up, asking me to resign, which he did, to take over the business. In other words, a backstabbing bastard. However, I said, you're not having my company. I started this with £1,000. You aren't having it. And the company liquidated in the middle of 96. I really don't know whether I've gotten over that yet, because it came as such a bloody shock. How could anybody do that to me? I then worked for a company called Adshell. You know the posters on the sides of bus shelters? Well, I did that, and that was amazing. But I still had the bug to work for myself, and I started off then in 97, 98 producing guidebooks, little spiral bound guidebooks, and a whacking great big A1 map that you pulled out the back. It folded up and you unfolded it and there was your map. And it went amazingly well. I built the company back up again to approximately 12 people. But I recognised that video was going to be the way forward. Hang on, I've jumped a bit. But I started falling ill. And I mean very ill. I had what was called ulcerative colitis. No doubt brought on by the stress of what had happened with the company in '96. But also I'd got married and that wasn't going very well either. And in 2000, in the July of 2000, I put myself into hospital and had my guts removed. They removed the whole of my large colon, my rectum, and sewed my arse up. And apparently, so I heard later from my mother, who spoke to the surgeon, I was rancid inside. And I was kept sedated for 4 days. I then had a full blood transfusion after that as well. But ended up in catching septicemia. And I'm sure at the end of the 3 months that I was in hospital, maybe 4 months, they sent me home to die. At the same time, the woman who I was married to was having an affair with a guy at the bank and took great pleasure in telling me. Excellent. So, in 2002-ish, 2, I started off with the guidebooks again, but I recognised that video was the way forward. And I reckon I was probably the first in this country to put video online. And I built the business again to around about 10 people working for me at the time. But then the girl who was selling for me decided she would try and set up against me, even though I'd offered to make her a director and shareholder for no money as a reward for the effort that she'd put in. But she thought the grass was greener on the other side, so she set up on her own, telling everybody in the office she was doing it and wanted them to go with her. I suppose a good part about that is she sold one film and then she went off and sold AdWords, so she ruined the job that 10 or 11 people had. That then gave me the opportunity, along with the technology, to set off and do my motorbike tours, which this is my 4th year. Although the first 2 years were just messing about really. It's now extremely serious. And so with the technology, similar to what I'm using right now, I could film the tours, I could make money from it, I could put them on the website, which I have. And the plans for 2014 are more exciting than an exciting thing, with every reason to be excited. And as cunning as a cunning fox that has every reason to be cunning. So that's a brief overview of why I do what I do now. And I absolutely bloody love it. There's been 2 parts of my life that I've really enjoyed. One was being an instructor in the army. That gave me an immense sense of satisfaction of taking this long-haired yeti from the streets with full of attitude, and 13 weeks later turning out a trained soldier. And I recently had an email from somebody, middle of last year, telling me that he still felt he should call me sir. Bless him, even after all of these years. And I took him through recruit training in '86. So you have a massive impact on people's lives. going up a hill now. But the second time in my life that I really enjoy what I do is right now. I could not think of anything that would give me as much pleasure as the pleasure I achieve now by going to places, filming them, showcasing them to you, meeting people I've never met, filming places I've never filmed. It's bloody fantastic. So there you go. That's why I do what I do now. And there's the guy shooting the pheasants behind me. At least I hope it's behind me. And they're facing the other way. That's me going up the hill. Oh, hope you've enjoyed it. Until the next time, take care and bye-bye for now.
The Motorbike TV vlog with Kevin Lear. Please subscribe, like and share.